As some of you know, I am the cockiest, most self-indulgent and self-centered person ever, so I think it's only fitting to begin this speech by talking about myself. A few months ago, I was blessed enough to find out that I was a member of the D3 and D4 Vermont Basketball Dream Dozen. This is a basketball accolade that I never thought I'd be good enough to earn. When I got the call informing me that I was a recipient of this reward, I was overcome with a sensation of gratitude, a level of thankfulness that I had never really experienced before. I am thankful first and foremost to God, for all good things come from Him. I have so many other people to thank for this honor, and so I figured I would share with you all my thought process as I walked across the court that day. So everyone that was receiving the award lined up on one baseline. We were then called out individually to walk the length of the court while the audience applauds. When my name was called, I tried to keep my gaze straight ahead, but within my first few steps, I was already looking at my family. My immediate attention was drawn to my dad's glistening white goatee. I think about where he came from and how he got to the place that he is today. I think about how he grew up with little to nothing, and how he had to grind and scrap and work hard every day just to get the opportunities that other kids were born into. I think about his work ethic and how he was wise ahead of his years, how he chose to study and work hard instead of partying with his peers. I think about how incredible his comeback story is. Given his situation and circumstances, nobody could have logically predicted that he would have the life, career, and success that he has now. And yet, despite all that, here he is, still wise beyond his years, still the hardest worker in every room that he steps into, and still surpassing all expectations of him. He just doesn't have the red hair anymore. I have so many things to thank him for. My life is what it is because of his efforts. Emily and I are spoiled because he came from spoils. We are recipients of his hard work and toils. Whenever I'm going through a hard time, a conversation with him makes it better. That doesn't always mean my problem is solved. In fact, usually the issue isn't any closer to its resolution than it was before the conversation. But I leave those conversations with understanding, and I leave those talks with a sense of hope that I didn't have before. Dad, I have so much to thank you for, and I'll never be able to repay you for what you've done for me, and I hope that you can understand how much I love you. I step across half court, and the next name behind me has already been called. My time as the main applause earner is over, but my biggest fan is still clapping. My mom's smile continues to bear down on me, and she probably doesn't realize that I wouldn't be able to be on this court without her. My mom and I have shared a lot of great moments together. One of the most valuable tidbits I'll ever receive in my lifetime came one afternoon when we were emptying wood from the back of our truck, and my mom told me, "Son, you can't throw it if you're standing on it." I'm pleased to report the remainder of the operation went much smoother. There have been plenty of encouraging words and sympathies throughout the years, but the one that outshines them all came late one night by the fireplace. It had been a rough week for me, and I was feeling stuck in life with nowhere to go. I laid out my frustrations and worries before my mother, and she responded with 4 simple words: "You're going to make it." Though seemingly inconspicuous, these words changed my outlook on life. Through them, I understood that my mom had supreme confidence in me, and that no matter how bleak my life may seem, I would be all right because my mom was on my side. Mom, thank you for being you. Thank you for loving me unconditionally, no matter how hard I make it at times. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I can one day have an ounce of the optimism that you have, I'll be set for life. Thank you for setting such a great example. I'm nearing the end of the court now. I step on the far foul line and notice that it's red. Not a bright, annoying red, but a deep red, like my sister's hair. I smile at the thought of my sister. I think of her bouncing up and down in anticipation of swimming trips. I think of her covering herself in mud in our backyard as happily as humanly possible. I think of her perfectly executing a violin piece at a talent show and making a girl cry in a taekwondo tournament. I think of her pointy cheeks that have been the start of many a wrestling match between her and I. I love my sister, and even though she doesn't share my passion for basketball, she has done so much for me over the years. She's one of the few people, in fact, sometimes the only person, that can always make me laugh no matter how sad I am. And I hope I've been able to help her with that too. I'm going off to college soon, and I won't be able to see her every day like I do now. This is a fact that will be sad when it becomes a reality, and neither of us have really adjusted to it yet. Emily, thank you for everything. Don't forget about me when you're out there saving the world. I cross the baseline at the conclusion of my walk, and then turn around as I'm supposed to. I recognize then that my walk couldn't be possible without all of you, my church family. You've all been a blessing to me in so many different ways. You've been my support system through all different circumstances, and I want you all to know how much I appreciate that. Although I've grown closer to some of you than others, you've all helped me in some way and helped me develop along this journey. Mike and Aaron, my coaches, thank you for never giving up on me even when I gave up on myself. Thank you for opening your homes to me and taking me in when you didn't have to. I definitely wouldn't be where I am without you guys. Eddie, my pastor, thank you for pouring yourself into me and my family and giving me advice and assistance along this path. To my fellow youth group members, peers, and leaders, thank you for supporting me and praying for me. It means more than I could express. I have such a solid friend group, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without their help. To all the families that have had me over and taken me in and put up with me and fed me, I thank you for that. I'm not always easy to put up with, and I appreciate you all for loving me regardless. Winter, thank you for everything that you do. It's far too much to list, and it's hard to summarize in words. Even though you entered my life at a later time, you've become a member of my family, and I wouldn't be where I am without you. You make me a better person, and I hope we can stay close for as long as possible. All come from dust, and to dust all return, Ecclesiastes 3:20. Life is short, which makes it precious. Every success that I have is ordained by God above. Without him, I would be nothing, and none of this would be possible. I've always been pretty good about saying my pleases and thank yous and being polite, but deep, genuine, heartfelt gratitude is harder to come by. Those moments when you realize that without love and help, you'd get nowhere, those are the moments when gratitude becomes transcendent, real. My walk on that court that day was one such moment, and so to everyone here today, I say, thank you.